basically what Allah is saying is that we can't fool the universe. They have the best lie detectors up there. So what we are doing is we are only fooling ourselves by saying that we believe, but our actions dictate something else. And when we test it, when the real thing comes for you to be tested around your faith, the actions, you fail in your actions. And Allah says that He tests everyone. There is no favoritism. Even prophets were tested. He tested people in the past, in the present and in future to see who of us are true to ourselves and who of us are true to our beliefs. And none of us can escape the reality of being judged. We are judged all the time. If the truth of our insincerity does not reveal itself in this world, it will reveal itself in the next. So there's always consequences to actions, whether they be good or bad. Then Allah says, whoever looks forward to meeting with Allah, let him know that the meeting is definitely coming. And He, Allah, is all-hearing and all-knowing. And whoever strives hard, they strive only for their own good. Because Allah says, Allah is not in need of His creation. His creation is in need of Him. And as for those who have faith and follow it up with good deeds, we shall most certainly erase the bad deeds, and we shall most certainly reward them according to the best of their actions. So in this there is contentment in the hearts of those who look forward to meeting Allah. By just cultivating a sense of longing to meet Allah, puts us in a better position to deal with the challenges of life. Because if you have in your mind that I'm not from here, I am here on a journey, I'm a spiritual being experiencing a physical journey or a physical experience, but your focus is on meeting with Allah, then certainly whatever challenges comes on your way, you'll be able to deal with it, because already your belief and your mindset is focused not on this world and making investments in this world, but in the world that is far better than this. And then whatever you do in this world is for yourself. The reward of good is good, and the reward for bad is bad. So let us follow the guidance of the Quran and use the tools of submission that it provides. We may examine why Allah says that the only path that Allah sanctions is the path of submission. It is because Allah knows and wants us to know that the path of being truly happy, or towards being truly happy and contentment in this world, lies in submitting to the fact that Allah is in charge, that we are subjected to the universal laws that Allah has put out there. So if you want to really be happy, follow the rules. And if you're not following the rules, face the consequences. Very simple. During the week I received an email from somebody that lives in Europe, and he asked the question, how do I know something is halal for me to eat when I'm in a country where they don't have halal stickers on their food, they don't have an MTC? How do they discern what they can eat and what they shouldn't eat? So I referred him to the Quran. And it's very simple. I don't know why we make such a big issue about what is halal, what is haram. Is the toothpaste halal? Is the water halal? Because now these days you get water, bottled water, and there's a halal sticker on there. And every day when you open your email, there's a new email about chocolates now is not halal, and this is not halal. So it becomes quite confusing. So let's revert back to the Quran and hear what Allah says, what is halal and what is haram. Allah says, lawful to you is the pursuit of water game and to use it for food, and for the benefit of yourselves and for those who travel with you. But forbidden is the pursuit of law game, but only in the time when you are in the precincts of the pilgrim garb. So precincts of the sacred place where the pilgrim is done, and when you are in the pilgrim garb. So in other words, when you are on Hajj or when you are in Umrah and you have your ihram clothes on, then you are forbidden to kill anything at that time. But other than that, Allah says, anything that comes from the sea is halal, and anything that comes from the land is halal. And fear Allah, Allah says, to whom he shall be gathered back. So why does Allah says we have to fear Allah? Because we're taking life at that moment. So we have to be conscious of the fact that life in Islam is sacred. But it has been made lawful for us to kill the animal for consumption. But still we have to have that fear that, am I doing the right thing? Am I killing the animal properly? Am I causing suffering to the animal? And that kind of thing. Then there's another verse that says, say, and this is Allah saying to the Prophet, because people used to ask the Prophet, now what can I eat? What is halal? What is haram? So Allah says to him, say, I find not in the message received by me, by inspiration, any meat forbidden to be eaten by one who wishes to eat it, unless four things. Unless it is dead meat, so in other words, you found an animal there, the animal died, and so you cannot eat it because the meat is not healthy. Or blood poured forth. In other words, you can't go drink a cup of blood. Or the flesh of the swine. Allah said, because it is dirty. Now remember, it only says the flesh of the swine. You mustn't go in the street and go kill pigs and don't want to wear shoes that are made with pig skin and all of that. Allah says it's only the flesh that is not healthy for you. Or point number 4, anything that's impious in terms of the meat. So if the meat has been slaughtered in the name of another god or invoked somebody else's name besides Allah, then that meat also spiritually becomes unlawful for you to eat. The beautiful part of this is Allah says, so it's only those 4 things that Allah says you're not allowed to eat. Meat, animal that died naturally, blood that's poured forth, the flesh of the swine, or anything that has been offered up to a name in a name other than God. But Allah says, if any person is forced by necessity without willful disobedience to the laws of Allah and no transgressing of limits, then Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. And that's how Allah makes it easy for us to eat what we can't avoid, or if you're hungry or anything like that. Because Allah says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah says, I intend for you everything that's easy and not to make life difficult for you. Then Allah says further, also in terms of consumption, they ask you concerning wine and gambling. So one of the main reasons why Allah suggests in the Quran that we deal in relation to intoxicants and addictive practices such as gambling and fortune telling is because it puts us in an altered state of mind. Both these things puts us in an altered state of mind. Because for example, if you look at gambling, you have the belief that you can win, and when you win you can be rich, and when you're rich you can solve your life's problems. So it's a way of diverting from the reality of life, but we are challenged and we have to find salient and healthy ways to deal with our challenges. The same with fortune telling. We're putting it in our mind that my life is difficult now, but if I go to the fortune teller, they'll tell me I'm going to marry this one and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to be rich and all of that. So again, we're putting ourselves in a false state of mind. And so the same with intoxicants. Intoxicants alters the state of mind that makes you believe and feel things that are not necessarily true. And it makes you act in a way that you would not normally act when you are in a pure state of mind. So when you put intoxicants and addictive practices together, the Quran says, you have a good recipe for disaster. And hence Allah gives us advice, فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. So just put it one side, leave it alone, so that you can prosper. Allahumma salli ala